I said last week that I really like Fire Emblem games. To me, it's the king of tactical RPGs, but occasionally I find, or in this case was suggested to play, games of similar ilk. Disgaea has been a long-running series of tactical RPGs, with anime-style art and over-the-top theatrics. I had no idea the series existed for the longest time, but always excited to try a new game. This week's review is Disgaea 5 Complete for the Nintendo Switch, also available for the PS4. Enjoy, folks. There's something charming about this. The entire game is based on demons, but it's not quite the demons people think of. They have their own society, their own worlds, different backstories. It's not all about being evil and trying to kill things. The demons actually have feelings, they have personalities. Fears, desires, it brings a real human element to it. The story has a charm to it that brings it to life and can really hit home with many people with relatable characters, struggles, and growth. The whole plot revolves around Kylia, Seraphina, and other rulers of the Netherworlds as they try to get revenge on Lord Void Dark and his lost army for trying to take over the entire Netherworlds. The idea of people banding together to bring someone down is a tried and true tale, but the way it's presented is certainly unique, at least to me. Every main character in the game gets a little bit of the spotlight, going through their ups and downs before growing as a person, and the way you get to watch all the characters grow and develop throughout the game adds a real sense of unity to your entire team. I never got the feeling of, why is this in the game? When it comes to the story, all the pieces fell into place, and it felt like everything that happened had a sense of purpose to it. It has a nice sense of hilarity along with dramatics in it. That can be a hard mix to pull off, but Disgaea does it well.
Now, let's get going, everyone.
There's a lot to cover here, so I'm going to do my best to mention everything, but who knows. Disgaea 5 is your typical tactical RPG for the most part. For the core gameplay, you have a battlefield where you position your characters before attacking and defending. You have your typical different character types, mages, archers, warriors, and so on, gaining levels and trying to exploit enemy weaknesses to win the battle. That is far from the only mechanic in the game though. Just in battles alone, you have your geo effects, throws, your monster charges, special attacks, overload skills, and the evilities, which are special passive abilities. The game does its best to break these mechanics up with tutorials in each chapter, but even with that it can be a lot to try and wrap your head around. You can also recruit demon underlings to help fight with you like Seraphina's Prinny army, among almost every other character that you see in the game. You also have some awesome team-up attacks that you can do which are hilarious. The main parts which involve battling were well done, but some things could have been a bit more fine-tuned. Let's start out with opening the battle. Unlike just picking your starting lineup and having them placed on the field for you, you have a battle square that spawns your allies, and you have to select each one individually and move them. It's not a big deal to start, but if you're struggling with a chapter and keep having to restart, then it gets really tedious, especially if you have the same opening strategy for the battle. Just having the characters on the map and allow you to switch the starting positions would have been much more convenient. On the note of restarting battles, every time you use a new skill, you have to watch a little animation before being allowed to skip it. That's cool, no big deal. But when you die and restart, it makes you watch the little animation again. And for enemies that have new attacks with some abilities lasting as good as 15 seconds, it can get frustrating quickly. Other than that, the fighting is pretty strong, though by the end I did find myself relying on 2 or 3 characters to really get me through, but that's kind of my fault because I didn't take advantage of what we're about to cover next. Outside of battle, you have Seraphina's Pocket Netherworld, also known as your hub world. This is where things tend to get needlessly cluttered. You have so many things you can do in the Pocket Netherworld, but honestly, I don't think half of them were needed, and it certainly didn't interest me by the midway point of the game, if not sooner. So let's start listing things off here. Hospital, yeah, need that. Quests, okay, sure. Items, yeah, that's useful. Equipment, yeah, that's important. Evilities, wouldn't survive without that. Item world, pass. Squad shop, meh. Chara world, no thanks. Material trainer, how long is this list? Anyways, that's about 2/3 of what the Pocket Netherworld has. All of it is useful, don't get me wrong, but to take advantage of everything the game hands you, you would take a lifetime, and I have games to beat. I don't have time for this. The nice thing is, you can ignore almost all of the extracurriculars and still beat the game. If you couldn't tell by now, this game is more like an anime than anything. Character designs, concepts, all of it is heavy on the anime front. And it's awesome. I'm not a big anime guy, but the way that each character is so separately unique from each other, and on top of that, each netherworld being just as unique, is perfect. It would have been nice to have a little bit more detail in the maps, but it's not the end of the world. More and more games are going for full voice casts, and Disgaea is no different. Almost the entire game is voice acted, and the cast was brilliant. All the characters felt real. The emotion in the story was really brought to life with the voiceovers, and it certainly helped take the story to the next level. Well, let's put it this way. I thought I could do this game back in week 4 of this channel. It's now week 26, maybe 27. And finally we're here, so yeah. This is about a 50-hour game. And that's probably streamlining the game, not including the DLC maps and all the extra stuff you can do. You could probably get $100 out of this game, I'm sure. Personally, that's a bit much for me, not gonna lie. But as someone who hates paying $80 for minimal content, I guess I shouldn't complain too much. Disgaea 5 is quite impressive. Fire Emblem was still the top of the mountain, but this game can hold its own in almost every regard. Minus some clutter and the occasional tediousness, it certainly does the genre justice.